cocky in the middle. You're getting really cocky, kind of like,
yeah,
I own this, which is
little.
good. But then your sounds that you played with it got a little bit too crass for the drum, for what it's capable of. Okay? So I would just be careful about that, not to go too over the top. All right? Even the facial expression is fine. It's just the oral that accompanied it, for me, made me cringe for the drum itself. You know, like the poor thing. I don't want to. That's a nice drum. Don't ruin it. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. So you want to always make sure your audience feels comfortable with what you're doing. Okay. Some of the things to work on. Look at carefully between 50 and 80. You have some time problems. Okay, just in terms of accuracy. As I'm watching the music and I'm tapping my foot, it doesn't line up. Okay. How do you work on that?
Work with a metronome.
How?
You set it to a certain tempo.
Okay.
Play through. Make sure that you can like set it to 16th notes and make sure that they line up.
Okay. So I would even go steps further than that. Rather than so number one, start by playing it slow with the med on every quarter note. Great. You know what I mean? That'll line up. Then turn the med on every half note. Put the med on every whole note. See if it lines up. Okay. Sometimes people have good time on the quarter notes, but they don't have good time within the quarter notes. That's where the 16th pulse comes, right? Maybe put the med on the and. That's tricky to do, but boy, if you could do it, you own it, right? The last thing to do is that a lot of people have good time playing with the med, but they turn the med off, and their time goes back to not being so hot.
Right.
So how do you fix that?
Just keep internalizing pulse. Or.
But how do you know if you're not playing well in the first place? Because no one intentionally rushes or drags, I think. At least that's my theory.
That's true.
So what I do to fix rhythm problems is I record myself, sort of like you have now. Go back and watch it. Try to get the met to your recording.
Okay.
That'll be a big eye-opener, right? So, you know, I have an old-fashioned Dr. B. Most people have iPhones now with, you know, a 99-cent metronome. I spent $150 on mine. But I'm a little bitter, can you tell? But so, for example, if it's not slowly play through this, okay? Maybe not up to tempo with the recording, but just, you know, right here and just go 1 E, 1 2, E up, all right? And you're totally playing it. Then record it, okay? Play back the recording, get your Dr. Beat and find out with the tap feature or whatever exactly what you're at, okay? So you're playing the tap to your recording. So then you know you're at like quarter equals 86, let's say, right? Then you rewind the recording and start again. Then you hit go to your recording, and it better line up. Now nobody's got perfect time, but you're gonna find spots. And sometimes I even photocopy like 10 copies of it, okay? And I do one recording and I circle every spot where it got rushed or dragged. And then the next time I play it, I put that up and I see where that spot is. All right? And then I'll re-record it. And I'll get a fresh copy. And then I'll compare the two and be like, gee, is it every time measure 4? I'm just rushing like crazy. You know, you're going to start to see what your tendencies are. Okay? But a percussionist is expected to have good time.
Right.
That's just like, we're I don't know why, we have this mantle on us. Okay? And I don't like it, but that's just the way it is. So that's one way to fix that. All right?
Okay.
Just to give you something to go home and experiment with. All right?
Cool.
Finally, your buzz roll at the end. Honestly, your buzz roll is, for lack of a better word, not good. Play your last roll. It sounds to me very rhythmic. Play it. Do you guys hear it? Sounds like jigga 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 jigga. You hear that?
Yeah.
Less rhythmic, right? This has a little bit too loose, but rather than difference, do you hear it?
It's a lot more fuzzy with the second one.
Okay, so you need to think how you get a ricochet. All right, your ricochet is too tight.
Okay.
Because the stick has to ricochet under your hand. So if you're doing this, let's say this is the pivot point, right? And you want the bead to go up and down. What happens on the other side?
It goes up and down as well.
If I put the crap out of it, what
It's not.
happens?
It's dead.
It's dead, and that's what you get. Okay? See this? Look under my hand. You have to allow that to happen. So you have to open things up. I allowed my forefinger. This is longer than we have time for. This is your pivot point. Don't grip on the bottom here. If you do, you're right at the pivot point, keeping it as a ledge. And it's going to go nowhere. Okay? I want it only on the side so that it can go. Alright?
Okay.
And then you use your middle finger. I basically do a 3-point fulcrum, only with my middle finger, and then I wiggle this way. So, do that, but that's not fast enough, right? So I need to spring load it a little bit. That's going to be the middle finger adding some pressure on the bottom, but not all the way, and a little bit on top here. Spring loaded stuff. Practice the length and the quality to sound like a ripple bar, right? So this is too closed. This is too open. This is just right. Hear the speed of that? Memorize that sound. Okay? And then the length of it as well. This is a nice sound, but it's too short. Stay on the head. Connect that. Your left hand. 5 in a row. Put it together. Alright, cool. You just gotta have even on. So there's a lot of moving parts in the roll. It takes a lot of effort. But that's going to be your end. Okay?
Okay. Cool.